I had this guy come up to me one time and he's like, Kevin Farley. I'm like, yeah, that's me. He's like, yeah, I know Jim Hanks. I'm like, I don't care. Anyway. Like I said, we're all fat.
Welcome to Something Crunchy, the Valley's #1 comedy entertainment podcast. Biscuit is homies with Blake. Blake is the older brother of Blair. And Blair is married to Biscuit. Here are your hosts, Cullen Blake with Blair and Tyler Dressel.
All right. Welcome to Something Crunchy. I'm Cullen Blake. With me as always, Blair and Tyler Dressel. Thank you for joining us by way of 97.3 The Rattler, or wherever you get your podcast. We have another very crunchy guest joining us tonight. He's an actor, filmmaker, and stand-up comedian who you've seen in Paranormal Movie, Together, F is for Family, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Please welcome Kevin Farley.
Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing?
Thank you for joining us, Kevin. We are excited to have you on. How have you been?
I'm great, thank you very much. Just been on the road doing stand-up. I'm here in, wherever I am.
Yeah, you're on tour, right? Back home in Wisconsin?
Yes, exactly.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, football season is back. Two of us are from Dallas, and you're a diehard Packer fan. What can go wrong?
Yeah, you guys. You know what? You guys are pretty good. You're probably better this year than the Packers, I would think.
I mean, I say that every year. It's just so seldomly true.
Way too early to tell.
In Cowboys-Packers, we've had such a heated, very one-sided rivalry over the past few years.
Because we've had some really good quarterbacks.
You have, yeah. We continue to meet in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You continue to stay in the playoffs afterwards. And yes, you and those quarterbacks. How do you feel after losing Rodgers to go see him play 4 snaps for the Jets?
Yeah, I know, 4 snaps. I feel bad for him. You know, I like Aaron Rodgers. I wish him the best. I understand his time ran out, so
I think
it was definitely time to move on. I think the Packers made a good choice.
But wow, 4 snaps with the Jets. I've seen longer commercials than his time on the field there.
Well, you know, the Packers are looking pretty wise in their decision there, just because he's getting a little long in the tooth. And
he is a little long in the tooth. And the Jets will always still be the Jets. I mean, discount double check. They have a good offensive line next time.
yeah, the Jets. Yeah, I don't know why. The Jets can't seem to get it together with, I don't know when's the last time the Jets have been in anything. Maybe Joe Namath, I guess. I don't know.
It's been a while.
And wow, there have already been some bad injuries this year. Chubb and Rodgers and Dobbins. Now Trayvon Diggs. If the NFL is scripted, the writers are also on strike.
Oh my God. Yeah, they are brutal this year.
Yeah, the Chubb going down. Yeah, there's been some brutal ones. Saquon Barkley, I think, went down. There's a lot of injuries, a lot of bad injuries too.
No, Chubb is on replay in my mind right now, and I just hate it.
Oh, that hurts.
Terrible. Yeah, it's a violent sport. You know, when you think about it, it's super violent. You know.
Did you play growing up?
Yeah. That's why I am the way I am. But,
what position were you?
I was offensive line, guard, and then on defense, I played linebacker.
Wow.
I mean, it's
both sides
you beat up.
Yeah, I don't know how we still do this game. You know, I remember reading a little bit about football when it first came out in the 20s. People were just horrified, and there was a good movement to like ban it. You know, just
it was
because
like barbaric.
Yeah, a lot of people in the when it first came out in the 20s were like, what? No, everyone is coming up with sickening leg injuries, and it's still going on, you know, and now also just concussions and stuff. It's a pretty violent sport, you know, but we just kind of go, yeah, give me another brat, you know.
I know. Hundreds of thousands of drunk assholes out here just screaming.
Yeah, and we talk about these injuries like they're nothing, you know. Even the announcers are like, it's a bit shaken up on the play. No, he snapped his leg.
Yeah, it's backwards now.
They're carting him off the field. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a little more serious than that.
Got his bell rung. No, he didn't. He got his head taken off. Like
Downplay
Bell
it a
rum.
bit.
Bell. So is Jordan Love your guy? Is he your next 10-year plan? You've had 2 quarterbacks since 1992.
Yeah, Jordan Love is our guy. We got to go with Jordan, and we'll see. Last game, I think near the end there, he got a little panicky. I don't know. He just didn't have the killer instinct, maybe that Favre Rodgers had. Rodgers had a killer instinct.
Yeah.
But this guy, I don't know if Love has. He's a nice guy. He can't be real nice.
It doesn't work out when you're nice.
Yeah, you got to be kind of a jerk,
The ego kind of helps a little bit, I think, in that position.
Yeah, right. Big egotistical jerk at quarterback.
Seriously.
That's what you need. A big egotistical jerk.
Perfection.
Perfectionist who thinks he's God. That's what I want.
That's what you're looking for.
That's the makings of a good QB for sure.
That's the makings of a good QB. He thinks he's God, thinks he can do everything, that kind of stuff.
Look at the most successful QBs. I mean,
so while we're early in the season, who's your Super Bowl pick?
Oh, geez, it's too early, but I would say Kansas City's going to be in there again. I know, but they got a great team. I also think as a long shot, maybe Miami, just because I think that they've got some tools.
Yeah, they're strong.
They do have some tools. Yeah, and if Tua or whatever his name is, if he can get the ball, he's got a mediocre arm, but
so many weapons.
But so many weapons,
yeah.
So Miami and Kansas City, I think, and then. I don't know, though. You never know. God.
Well, you've been doing stand-up now for over 10 years. You're on tour as we speak. Kenosha this weekend, Youngstown, Ohio at the Funny Farm Comedy Club next week. When will you come back to the desert?
I love Phoenix. Phoenix has so many comedy clubs. They have Levity Live. They have, there's just so many. And they have the Improv. I love the Improv, the Tempe Improv.
Tempe Improv.
Yeah, gosh, that's such a historical place.
Yeah, it's a lot of
I
fun.
love all of Phoenix. And Phoenix, to me, is my favorite town in the winter because I play a lot of golf. I love golf. Golfing in Phoenix in the winter.
Yeah.
Golfing in Phoenix
we got a golfer on hand.
And we got the great comedy clubs, too. Golf and comedy is great in Phoenix.
Yeah, I love it. And the weather is so perfect that, it's a great place to be come December, I guess, or January.
Let's talk about Second City.
I love it.
Talk about Second City for a minute. And it's one of my favorite places in the whole world, and it was on my short list of things that I wanted to do as a kid. Never got to make it, but I would love to hear some stories about it.
Well, I was selling asphalt in Madison, Wisconsin when my brother went down to Second City, and I didn't even know what it was, and I remember coming out of college and going down there to see one of his shows and saying, this is different, because I always thought theater was a little hoity-toity for me. I didn't like theater, I didn't want to be a thespian. I just didn't see it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was more of an athlete, more of a
didn't sound as cool
salesman. Yeah, it just didn't sound that fun. It seemed like people that took themselves a little too seriously.
Sure.
So I went down to Second City and my eyes were just like, what is this? This isn't theater. This is like everyday guys going up there and trying to do theater, And I was like, well, heck, I can do this. Yeah. But it just seems so raw and edgy and made up as you go. But like going into Second City and learning what they teach over there is really, I would advise everybody to do that just because it helps. It helps so much with my self-esteem and everything else.
I have heard that so many times. They say if you do anything, go to an improv class and do something like that and just get out of your shell, find you a little bit.
So who else was in your graduating class?
Oh, in my graduating class? Geez, I think I had... there were some guys... Well, gosh, my class, I don't think they're doing it anymore. Maybe they are. David Pompey. I don't know if he's still doing it. He might be still doing stand-up. He was a great stand-up. And then that was really the only guy I think that really went on to do stuff. But I was hanging around with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey at that time was around. You know, they weren't in my class. They were just in the building, you know. And I did with Adam McKay was on stage, and I got to watch him. You know, all those guys. They were just brilliant.
Your material is really great. You know, we love these clips you've been adding on YouTube. Tyler just taught me about yacht-rock a few weeks ago.
Sure did.
I thought you'd be interested to know that Kevin and his wife are yachties. Yachtsters?
Yeah.
Yacht for teacher?
Yacht masters.
Yeah. I mean, we have yacht-rock going 24/7 in the car and in the house.
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
Yeah. How would you describe it to those who don't know what yacht-rock is?
It's just Christopher Cross on a loop.
That's right. Little Michael McDonald every now and then.
Little Mike McDonald. I really don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I really can't say. Yeah.
It's so hard to not have a smile on your face when there's yacht rock going on.
Yeah. My wife loves Michael McDonald. I hope he never comes around the house. Yeah, no, she is every time she's in love with Michael McDonald, and I think just his voice, you know. But he does. I can't really argue because I'm like, yeah.
Everyone loves that voice.
He does have that panty dropping voice.
Yes.
Oh man,
Mine get loose every time I hear him.
Yeah, he. I can't really argue with that. I'm like, yeah, he's got a great voice. He's got a good person. You know, what are you gonna do?
That's your hall pass. I mean, can't say no to that.
Yeah, I know, hall pass. Hall pass. I'd still murder the guy.
He doesn't get a hall
She
pass.
can escape. But, yeah.
Hall pass.
Yeah, he's going to be right
I'd be
in the.
convicted of murdering Michael McDonald.
Well, Kevin, what kind of music did you listen to growing up?
All my friends. I was kind of like a top 40 weirdo. Like, I sort of liked the mellow kind of 70s. I'm an old man, so 80s and 70s, and I liked the mellow, the whatever they had on the radio, you know, which was pretty much, Seals and Crofts and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
And
that's
then
normal.
my sister was the only one that could have a record player because all the boys would probably throw records at each other and break the record player. So she only had Carpenters and Barry Manilow. You know, so I would sneak into her room and I'd listen to Barry Manilow and the Carpenters. You know, and then I kind of like it.
Karen Carpenter was awesome. Hell of a drummer.
I absolutely think she was the best. I really love Karen Carpenter. I had a huge crush on her when I was a kid, you know, but I still think her voice is one of the most unbelievable voices of all time.
Agree.
I don't know how she was able to sing so well while drumming so well.
She was one of the most talented people.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, Rick, her brother, was really talented too. They were both like really talented, but she drummed. Yeah, she was a drummer. No, I just love the Carpenters. I loved all their stuff. You know, I wish they would have come out with more stuff, but obviously she had a terrible life.
Yeah. Well, 4 boys and a Barb, and I've heard you say that your sister was the funniest in your family.
Yeah, without trying to be. Yeah, that's what makes her the funniest. Like, we're all trying to, make each other laugh, but Barb says stuff that you're just like, are you serious?
Like what's an example or a good Barb story?
Like she will just go up to people and go, "I'm Chris Farley's sister."
Are people just in shock or like,
okay?
Yeah, like somebody like that doesn't know or whatever, like a stranger. Like, I'm Chris Farley's sister.
Just like that.
What the hell? Yeah, you're like, Barb, I don't think that guy cares. Like,
I'm
leave him
sure he cares.
alone.
He's probably like, holy shit, what?
Well, then they do go, really? Are you serious?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah.
I can't imagine that she looks like him as much as you did. I mean, you guys had the
Barb?
Yeah,
Barb
Barb.
does kind of look like. Yeah, Barb looks like all of us, I think.
Okay, so there is there's the Farley resemblance.
This guy had a shirt on in my show last night. He came to my show last night. It had a shirt that it was on the front of it said, "What about Barb?" I kind of laughed.
That's really funny.
About Barb.
It was a takeoff. It was a takeoff of the
What
movie.
about
What about Bob?
That is the funniest thing.
And I said, "That's hysterical." Barb's the only non-famous Farley, but she's, I mean, John's an actor. Tom thinks he's an actor. But, not really anything. But Tom gets out there and talks. He's always talking about, his thing is helping kids and drugs, with that kind of thing, which is nice.
Yeah,
Tom does
cool.
that. But he's in the public eye too. And then, but Barb just kind of, babysits and is a nursery school teacher. Nobody really knows Barb unless we bring her up.
She's totally like
That's why
trying
we
to have
gotta
a
bring her
normal
up,
life.
though.
and we
Shout
gotta,
out to
Yeah.
Barb.
But what about
So
Barb?
He comes into this. What about Barb?
I need the shirt now. Like, I
hilarious.
love
Yeah, that's
that.
a great shirt. What a funny shirt to wear to your
Great
show.
shirt.
Like,
What about Barb?
I like the reference and
Yeah,
the
10 out of
the
10
Barb
on
shout out. Like,
creativity.
10 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah. No, if you ever meet Barb, you just be like, "Wow, what the hell was that?" The most obvious things that are just like, "It's sunny out," Yeah. She'll just point it. She loves to point out the obvious, that everyone knows, but does it in a very enthusiastic way.
Well, we grew up in the Chris Farley era, and the impact he had on us was the same for so many. We think of him often, and we will always think of
Yeah.
him with love and admiration. What do you think he'd be doing if he was still with us here today?
Just doing his thing,
Just doing his
probably
thing.
acting.
Making
Yeah.
people laugh.
Just doing his thing, making people laugh. He absolutely loved being an actor, and he loved what he did, and he would probably be making movies,
For
being
sure he
in
would.
Sandler films. He would have probably been in Grown Ups and all.
Oh,
those
yeah.
I was just about to say, we wouldn't have to see Kevin James in those Grown Ups movies.
Oh, just think how much funnier Chris was.
Oh,
Yeah.
And he could have
And
just
endearing.
And he could have just kept it from being endearing. I love that you mentioned
That's
that.
what he's missing. That Kevin
Yeah.
James is not endearing like Chris was.
Paul Blart. I thought Paul Blart was a good one.
Yeah.
I liked it, but
It was okay.
he didn't. I mean, Chris had that extra thing
yeah.
that he doesn't have.
He had your
I feel bad
heart.
because he gets kind of like labeled in that, regard.
does.
Sure.
Like,
yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
It's hard to follow that.
But you described Chris in the best way possible that I don't think I've ever heard anyone do as well, where you mentioned he had the physicality of John Belushi, but had the vulnerability of John Candy, and that's kind of what made him special.
The two Johns.
The two
Yeah.
Johns. That was incredible. And that was like, I don't know why I didn't think of it that way, because you obviously think of all those guys kind of together at times, but that was like, wow, okay, that's it. That's exactly how I would describe him.
Well, that's exactly. I used to say that to Chris because Chris always admired Belushi for his physicality.
Right.
And I'd be like, yeah, you can probably move just as good as Belushi did for a bigger fella. But I said, you also have that other, thing with that Candy had, which was, the vulnerability, and I don't think John Belushi was as insecure as Chris really was. He was more of a badass, like a gangster kind of guy.
John Belushi
But
was.
Chris, yeah, I think he was more of he was a real leader and kind of he was a go-getter. Chris was kind of this insecure, he just had this vulnerability about him, that Belushi didn't have.
Yeah, I mean, but I think more comedians than not probably do have that second guessing
Sure.
and
Yeah, that's why they're looking for
Yes.
approval from
Yeah.
random people on the
Yeah,
stage.
exactly. Right.
All a
Chris
little
definitely
broken.
had a lot of insecurities and stuff like that. So that came through in a lot of his acting.
yeah, but I think that's kind of what really connected with the audience in such a way too. It's always that's always the best recipe, is just that like true, authentic. It just always comes through on screen, and I think that's what really connected.
Yeah, I definitely do too. And I look back at some of the stuff. Yeah, it was definitely that extra quality of us being like an everyday person that everybody could relate to him.
For sure. I'd like to think he'd be killing it with a lot of this voiceover work like you've been doing with some of these. We love F is for Family. We had on Michael Price, and he had nothing but just the nicest things to say about you, Justin Long, Bill Burr. That just sounded like a great atmosphere.
honestly, that was like one of the best shows I've ever worked on. And I think it was because it was, it was just easy. Like I would go in and do my thing, and Mike was such an easy guy to work for, and Bill Burr is such a great collaboration. I really had sounds weird, when you work that long with people, but I had absolutely no problems, with that show, and just nothing bad to say. It was just such a joy. I wish we could do it forever,
Right. That is rare. That's so awesome to hear. That's exactly how it seems. That's the vibe that everyone seems to say about it. And how was working with Bill? I know he's a rare breed in today's world of comedy, and he's been able to kind of position himself to get away with saying what others just can't get away with.
Yeah. Bill, I've known, since we were in acting class in LA, and I remember meeting Bill going, yeah, I'm a stand-up, and stuff. And gosh, I just watch him grow and grow and grow every year. He's getting bigger and bigger. And then, when this thing came along, he was working with Vince Vaughn on it, and he said I could do a couple voices, and I just had known him for so long, and it's such an honor to meet him, just because he's such a hard worker, and he's such a great mind, a comedic mind, and so I've been just in awe of how he's done his career, and he's just a real hard worker, and a great comic.
Who else have you worked with where you just think of that way, kind of just on another level?
Yeah, well, definitely Burr is one of those guys. I opened up for a long time, Norm Macdonald, and then I just learned a lot from Norm too, because he was, in terms of stand-up, and learned how to do it, and how, watching a guy that's so good at what he does in terms of stand-up, like Norm, I got the opportunity to just watch him do it, as well as David Spade. I opened up for David, for many years. And I watched both those guys, and I really learned a ton from those guys, So I had the benefit of looking, I feel like Jordan Love watching watching one of the Hall of Famers,
yes,
being underneath them,
Norm definitely had the ability to make something that was extremely hard look extremely easy. Exactly.
He was always talking about super complex things, but in a very, and obviously delivering them in the Norm Macdonald way, but he never shied away from really complex, really tough issues. He wasn't afraid to tackle anything. Yeah. Fearless, absolutely fearless.
Well put. Well, it's Crunchtober. Yeah. We got to at least bring up the Ween. Was Halloween a big deal in the Farley house growing up?
Yeah, typically we would go out there and egg houses and do stuff like that. Yeah.
Boys being boys. Madison seems like a really cool place to grow up, and where Halloween would be a big deal.
We used to have this thing called, we would go out and get shaving cream, and then we'd put an aerosol cap on top of it, so it shoots out really fast. And that's what we'd use and squirt like mailboxes and stuff like that. As I got older, you get that 15 years old, and you're like, I probably shouldn't be out here, but I'm still going to just throw eggs at people. But I do love Halloween. And then in college, Halloween turns into just a huge party. Yeah, so I love Halloween. I think it's a fun holiday. It's for the kids though. It's for the kids
and for the teenagers.
Yeah.
It's for me too. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I mean, right now I just like to give out candy and listen for the phone or the doorbell to ring and see what the kids are doing.
It's fun to see the same, 6 to 8 costumes over and over again. There isn't as much creativity as there used to be. Like it's a lot of the same repetition, same ones, but it's still fun. And I like to see them get into it. Certain neighborhoods are better than others. It always bothers me when I feel like they aren't doing it as big as previous generations.
There's always the people that go too hard though, which I love.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the guys that, you really go crazy on their lawn. Those guys are crazy. Wow.
Man,
So
you got one of those
serious.
across the
Yeah.
street, and it is
I love it.
talk about fearless. Like this is
They had over 20 inflatable Halloween blow-ups in the yard.
This is not an exaggeration.
No.
I mean, like seriously, like you're standing out there looking at it, going, one, this is just fucking ridiculous, and two, where do you keep this shit? Like where do you haul it?
Right.
Because there
We
is
have
no
3 large
storage.
things and we have 0 space for it, and like I don't understand.
So they haul this all to a storage facility, which
you
like
couldn't get another blow up anything in that yard. Not even one single little
No.
thing. Like they left no stone unturned.
It's like, get a life, dude.
I'm like jealous. I feel so many emotions because I'm like, it's amazing, but
Yeah.
like, damn, like, I mean,
there is that like
the little
Griswold factor where you want to
yeah.
compete and like
Yeah.
I love a little extra. Like we're
But
an
that's too
extra
extra.
kind
Yeah.
of family,
That's
you
too
know,
much.
like
At some point, it just feels like you're trying to lure children to your house.
yeah, like okay.
My favorite are the guys that dress up like really scary, like demon kind of things, and they're really into it. They're just quietly wandering around the party, not saying anything.
they don't say a word.
Full character.
No, and normally they're pretty talkative, and you're like, "Who are you?" And you're like, "I'm Rick." Rick?
that's
And he's
you
like
into there.
turned into it. Is that you? And he's like, "Yeah, man." And you're like,
Holy shit.
"Wow!" And you're like, "Why aren't you saying anything?" And he goes, "I don't know. I just feel different." He just
Waits all year for Halloween.
It's
so
a
he can
one
be
day
his
a
true
year I can
self.
be myself.
Rick, just
Yeah.
let it all out.
this is how I feel inside.
This is the real Rick.
I'm dressed like
This
a
is the
bear.
real Rick, dressed like a demon. You know?
I forgot how creepy costumes were like in like the 70s and 80s. Like you look at back at, I saw a photo the other day of like the kids in the classroom and they're all like wearing their masks to school. And
Horrifying.
it is like the creepiest
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen. Like they were barely trying. They were all just wearing the creepiest masks. And you're like, I'm horrified
Yeah.
looking at those.
I did a YouTube on history of Halloween. I listened to it. It
Really?
was pretty good. It's primarily a Christian holiday. I think it's just dealing with death. Like death sucks, and we all have to
Yeah.
deal with it. And so this is their way of going, I guess we have to die, so we better make friends with it. And so this is their way of like going, I guess the spirits and that kind of thing. What's going on after the lights go out? And so it's just sort of, it's the tradition, I think has some Christian things to it that also has pagan things to it. So it's like a mixture of, it's a weird way it developed. I mean, you can go on YouTube and hear it, but I'm way too stupid to reiterate what that YouTube said, but it's pretty complicated. Like over the years, it just developed into the trick or treat, and it's a Celtic thing too. They used to carve up turnips, and then it turned into pumpkins. So there's a real history to it that it's interesting. It's interesting how it's developed.
Well, it's kind of like a Dia de los Muertos look on it, of
Yep. The Day
how
of the Dead,
Halloween
you mean,
kind
with
of
Yeah.
originated, like from
the
the
Mexican. That's the Mexican, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is more of European and Celtic and English version of that.
That's
kind
cool.
of thing. It's just a way I think of dealing with our mortality.
For sure.
It's hard
We
to
don't live
process
forever,
in different
folks.
ways. So yeah, it's a way of kind of expressing it.
Expressing that we all have to check out sometimes.
Yeah.
which- Not
Hard-
sometimes. Everyone.
We all
Everyone has
do,
to
but
at
it's
some
hard.
It's hard to accept. I wish we could live forever.
I know.
Shit.
Shit.
So I enjoy every moment we have.
That's right. That's why we celebrate Halloween, and we celebrate it. 'cause that's
Exactly.
part of life.
And that,
Celebrate the life.
that's
we
what's
do
the
have.
appeal about horror movies too. It makes you scared, makes you feel alive, and you know that you have some life to you. Kevin, do you have a favorite
Right.
horror movie or horror franchise?
WHORE? No, I'm just kidding.
Who is your favorite?
WHORE?
No, horror movie. I think I always like Young Frankenstein because it's not really a horror film, but it's a comedic horror film.
Mel Brooks.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of my favorite.
So good.
I don't really like scary movies just because I'm already scared anyway.
I'm so
So-
the same. I don't need to be jump scared. Like I don't
No.
love that feeling. I like the twisted ones that
No.
kind of like mess with my mind a little bit more than like popping out and giving me a panic attack, you know?
We're big Gene Wilder
Yeah, I
fans
don't need.
and Mel
I'm
Brooks
already.
fans.
I walk around scared anyway.
That's why comedy is like, I need to laugh and just like feel happiness and fun for a bit.
Right. Life's scary enough.
Yes.
Well, for non-horror movies, you're more what the Caddyshack, Blues Brothers, the Mel Brooks style movies. Yeah, for sure. Tyler too.
I love
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack. The old. I wish they made those movies anymore because certainly I would get some of those.
Need it.
They don't make the movies that I'd be good for anymore, like Caddyshack or anything like that.
You mean good movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Good comedies.
There's no just real, true good comedies
You would be
anymore. There's so few and far
great
between.
in a Caddyshack comeback.
Yeah, we should do that. I mean, Sandler's really the only one that's doing that anymore. He still does it, but that's about it.
It's about
we
it.
Need more.
We need more. I agree.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything good lately?
Comedy wise?
Anything good lately? But yeah, comedy wise or otherwise.
Anything. I know. The movies are terrible now. They're all too woke. I don't know if you guys are woke, but I don't know.
We're not that woke.
Yeah, not like that.
We're not like mid-woke.
Yeah. Well, they always have a message. Once I see the message in a movie, I'm like, oh no.
Oh, exactly. Like,
just had to have the
that's
message.
not what we're here for. Like, come
Can it just
on.
be funny?
Like, oh,
Come on.
It's a political message.
Did anyone think for a second that maybe we wanted this hour and a half to like escape all that bullshit and not think about that for a minute and like just kind of be pushed in another universe for a sec? I hate it when that happens.
Oh, I can't stand it. And all of a sudden, you sniff out the message and you're like, oh, gross. And then I'm out.
I took out hours of my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a message. This is bullshit.
Gonna get some popcorn.
Damn.
What's a show or movie that you watched only because your wife wanted to see it, but you ended up kind of liking it?
Oh, that's a good one. Geez, we really honestly hate all the movies right now. We don't go out. My wife watches the Housewives.
Mm-hmm.
Housewives.
She watches Southern Charm and all that.
Of course.
And
all things
I don't
Bravo.
like watching it, but I'm obviously sitting in bed, so she's watching it. So I'll just I have to watch it. So.
Tyler has some secondhand Southern Charm for sure.
Yeah, I do. I don't hate them.
It's secondhand Southern Charm, right? Southern Charm is, I think, got a new. They have a new thing out, right? Don't they have a new season?
Oh yeah, I'm into it.
Listen
Just
to you
started.
guys.
Yeah.
Listen to you guys.
I mean,
the shame on
what?
Blair's face.
I have
even
no
if she-
shame in my game. I watch it all. I give it all a shot. I don't watch all of Bravo, but there's Southern Charm. I'm into it.
My wife calls me and says, I guess Thomas is coming back to the show.
Oh,
No.
no.
Yeah.
No.
I thought he went to jail.
Don't. No.
Didn't he go to jail?
I love the
I
fact
thought he
that
went to jail.
Yes.
No.
He did. He went to jail.
all of a sudden Tyler's like, what? I'm not paying.
Hold
Thomas
on.
is fucking back.
Hold on.
What?
Blair, you didn't tell me about this.
No, that is kind of crazy
Yeah.
though, because he's a hot mess. If you want to see one in person, but whoa.
Oh, that's funny.
And
Big
who's
news.
the other guy that she gets mad at? The guy that cheats on every girlfriend he has. Who's that guy?
Shep.
Oh, yeah. Shepherd.
Shep.
Such a
she gets
Shep
so
thing
mad
to
at
do.
Shep. She's like, Shep is such a scumbag. Shep is such a scumbag.
That's
He's
pretty
always
dead
hitting
on.
on girls. Yeah.
I mean, he is kind of a scumbag, to be honest.
Kind of.
Yes.
I remember my wife and I went to wherever they shoot that, Charlotte. Yeah, we went into a bar where I guess he had been in the show. And then we asked a few people, is Shep there? As a joke. And the guys at the bar are like, no, he'll be in a few minutes. I'm like, what?
He's just always at bars and out.
He's always at bars. And he's always hitting on girls.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So that's
Yeah.
not fictional. That's
No, he's 100%
No.
like that, I bet.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it feels a
Yeah,
little
so-
creepy to me, but
But my wife yells at the screen and be like, super mad.
can't help but get a little involved,
Yeah, we liked Succession.
Love
Oh,
Succession.
love Succession. We
Oh,
definitely
We watched that.
all got in
Yeah.
all of that.
I was really
But I
into
got mad
Billions
when he
too,
died.
but they
Oh, Billions was good.
Billions
too.
is good. They go too far with the metaphors. That was like a cool part of the writing that worked for like just one or
Yep.
two of the characters early on, and then they slowly
Yep.
morphed every single character on the show to talk that way.
Because I'm too into the business now. Whenever I see a show that gets what I call writery,
Writery, yes. I know exactly
yeah.
what you mean by that.
Just tell.
yeah, well, you just see the actors are trying to say the words that this guy told them to say, and he's like, "No, this is good stuff. This is good.
This
Just,
is- no,
just
this
say
is-
the
this is
script.
good.
Just go by the script.
Just say this. Just say this. This is really good." And it's just the writer going, "Look how good of a writer I am." And it's one of those. When I
That's
see
tough.
shows turn like that, you're like, "Oh, this actor's just saying, what this writer overly wrote." Because
And now I'm paying
it's too
attention to your
writery.
acting and like you saying these
Yeah.
words. Where like I'm the opposite because I love such like improv in actors, and that's what I
Yes.
think like makes every scene the improv
You take
actors
away
do
all of
so
that.
specials because that's the authenticity of it, and it's so much better where they're just delivering the lines as a good actor. And
Right.
Well put,
Because
Blair.
people don't waste words. People don't waste words when they're talking. They don't waste. They don't. And if you do waste, people go, okay, windbag, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why say 10 words when 3 will do?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And so when shows get too writery, I just start to turn off. I'm like,
Check
oh,
out.
God.
And it does happen
Yeah.
really in all of them. I know exactly what
It
you mean.
does.
there needs to be a balance.
Need somebody to just rein in the writer.
Yeah. Well, we like to play a game on every episode and include our guest as well. One of my favorite bits you do is making fun of shitty song lyrics when you start to pay attention.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Your
yeah.
example is always Smooth Operator when they say coast to coast
yeah.
from LA to
LA
Chicago. Like, oh my God. I like to use Oasis saying slowly walking down the hall faster than a cannonball.
That's a good one.
So
That's a good one.
there's plenty of examples, and lyrics have not gotten any better lately, giving us plenty of opportunities to see if you can determine if the crappy song lyric is real or just completely made up.
Okay.
All right.
Love it.
I feel good
Love
about this. First up,
Yes.
uno, dos, tres, catorce.
That is real. That is a U2 song.
That is real. 1 for 1. He's on the
Wait.
board. Yes, that is
Yes.
from U2 Vertigo. No one told
Vertigo.
Bono that means 1, 2, 3, 14.
14. I like me.
Go to
1, 2, 3, 14.
14. Like, that's exactly what that means. That did not do them any
That's
favors.
hilarious.
Go YouTube Vertigo, and you don't have to get but 10 seconds into it. It's how the song starts.
You're gonna
It's great.
throw a catorce at me?
Throw a
Oh my
catorce.
God.
Okay, 1 for 1.
Oh,
He's
14.
all right. Idiot. This isn't better. Second up, England is my city.
Oh,
Oh,
come on.
that's fake. That's fake.
That has
is
to be
not
fake.
fake. That's a real lyric from It's Every Day, Bro, by Jake Paul.
Whoa.
Oh.
No. Oh,
Oh, it instantly, yeah. I'm like, well, now.
Like, it makes sense.
Okay.
God.
No, it makes sense. But
Get out of here.
just remember when you see Jake Paul next, remember, England is my city.
I
That
feel
was
like dumber instantly from that.
like he wrote that down, then he took it into a booth, and
Someone
he
let
did that
you
for
say
a room
that?
full of people. No one thought, hey,
That means everyone around him hates
Yeah,
him so
exactly.
much that you're like, yeah, bro, go for
for
it.
sure, England
Say
is my
that.
city. It sounds great.
Sounds
It's
so-
always disturbing when somebody as dumb as Jake Paul makes that much money because you're like, oh my God,
Oh.
what's
I
wrong
hate
with
that.
me?
I hate that.
I hate it.
I hate
Oh.
that. Nothing crushes the self-esteem seeing like some
Oh.
jackass.
he
somebody
made so
that
much
dumb
money
being
off
like,
of like
Making
England is
so
my
much
city.
money and they're that dumb.
And like it's only
Oh.
keeping him more dumb and more like, you know how some things
It feeds into
it feeds into him being a
Yeah.
piece of shit. and
Now
that
we're
sucks.
letting him do this. And it's
Right.
just-
But I always correlated being rich with being smart, and I guess I have to give that up.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, good point. That's
Yeah.
true. Next up, my love meat is well done. Take it off the grill.
What? Did you?
I hope that's real, but
Wait.
that's fake.
It's got
He's right. That's fake. Completely made up. He's back into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
2-1. All right.
Yeah.
he's
I
getting it.
would. Oh my god! I'd be like, who is this now? I need a new favorite.
That's awesome, though. That should be a lyric.
This
though.
should be a lyric. It should be a lyric.
Yeah, it should.
All right. Chew tobacco. Chew tobacco. Chew tobacco. Spit.
That's real. That sounds so dumb. It's real.
Yeah, that's too dumb. It's real.
It's real.
It is real.
It's
Oh,
real.
I'm sick.
That
this
is-
is what we have these days. Like my kids had to grow up with this.
No, this is from
Wow.
Boys Round Here by Blake Shelton, who they paid to judge other artists.
Oh,
Jeez.
my head is
Wow.
like trying to comprehend.
Ugh.
Holy moly.
Spit.
Holy moly.
Chew tobacco spit.
Chew tobacco, chew tobacco, chew tobacco. Spit! Country songs in general are getting worse. 'cause
They're
it's
getting
always just
worse.
like,
You could give
I
Tyler
got
a
my
lick
dog
of
and a
anything.
beer and a truck and a dog and then a dog and a beer and a truck and a dog.
Riding
Like,
in the
what?
dirt with the dog in
That-
my truck.
That used to be one of the only
got
kind
a
of
dog
redeeming
in a
qualities of country was
Yeah,
the
it's like-
lyrics.
Whoa.
I got a
Country
dog
was
in my truck.
always like about the lyrics. Now it's like a dog in a truck and a dog in a truck and then a beer and a dog in a
Chew
truck.
tobacco spit.
Yeah.
I actually, now that I'm hearing that song, I can picture myself when that came out, like probably singing it so hard, which
Oh,
makes me
Blair.
feel like even worse about myself.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you've
I
heard
know.
that. That's a terrible one.
Chew tobacco, chew tobacco, chew tobacco.
I'm gonna hear it, be singing, and be like, son of a.
All right. Couple more here. He's on top of this. What is it? He's only missed one, right? Gotten
think
3,
it's my
missed one?
record, yeah.
Okay.
What?
The ghost was giving a toast, but I saw right through him.
Fake.
Fake is correct.
Wow.
Got it.
Yeah,
There was too
good
much to
effort,
it.
though.
There was too much. There was too
There's
much
too much to
it.
it. Chew
Yeah.
tobacco spit was like the way obvious, but this one's
Chew
like,
tobacco,
come
spit.
on.
Okay. Couldn't get him there. Shit. All right. When I was a geisha, he was a samurai. Somehow I understood him when he spoke Thai.
That's real.
Stop.
This gem was found in a Nicki Minaj song called Your Love. Yes, that is.
Nice.
You only missed one. Man, it's
She's
so
a
good.
genius.
it's amazing. She's a genius. There is just no shortage of crappy song lyrics out there. My God, I was listening,
Oh,
and
no.
you're right. You don't like even songs you know and you like sing. Then you like start to pay attention. You're like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
there's
Even
this.
like old songs, you're like, what?
Yes, I heard a song the other day, and the lyric was, "I'm down on my knees, searching for the answer. Are we human or are we dancer?"
I used to do that one.
That's the killer.
Fuck.
Like, what?
Yeah, the
Well, what is-
killers. Are we
What does that
human or
mean?
are we dancer?
Are we human or are
Yeah.
we dancer? Pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm seeing
I
some
used to
overlap
do
here.
that in my ass.
It's one or the other, or
Aren't we both?
Are we both?
I'm confused now.
Are we both?
I like to
Aren't
dance.
we both?
Get off your knees in one. Like, aren't we both? I feel
Get up. We're all human.
We're all-
And we're all
we're
dancers.
we're all human, and some of us are dancers.
God, am I a human or am I a dancer? God can be like, you're a dancer, fool.
Oh, you're a dancer, you moron.
dance.
Oh,
I
thank you for
moron.
doing that, Kevin. That was really fun.
Thank you,
That's really-
guys.
You were really
That was
good
a
at
fun
that.
game.
Too. Yeah, fun game. I really appreciate
Fun
that.
game. I love it.
And don't forget to check out Kevin's stand-up tour and stay informed on what he's up to at kevinfarleyofficial.com and subscribe to his YouTube channel at Kev Farles to get clips of his shows and more. We sincerely thank you for your time, Kevin, and I hope we get a chance to hang out again soon.
Yes, thank you, Kevin.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. And thanks for having me.
Oh,
and I
appreciate
it
you.
all.
Yes, let us know when you
Okay.
come into Phoenix, and we need to
Yes.
get you into some of these clubs and go play some golf.
Yeah, tell them to bring me over there. I'd love to come.
On it.
On it.
Okay, guys.
Have a good
Have
one.
a good weekend. Thanks, Kevin.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Farley.
Whoa.
Kevin
That was awesome.
Farley. That was so much fun. He
I love-
puts a smile on your face. It's a Farley thing, you know.
Rocked that game. He was human. I was dancer. No one asked him about Halloween. That was cool too. I liked hearing some of those stories.
Yeah. I like hearing everybody's take on Halloween too.
What about Barb?
We got to meet Barb.
We
gotta
gotta have
I need
Barb
the shirt.
on.
We need to talk to Barb. We all
Shout
need
out
more.
to Barb.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
world needs more Barb.
Chris and Kevin, they're like the immediate Farleys that you think of, and they look alike, and they're very Farley. And then the other brothers do look like them, and they're also actors, and like they've done a lot too. Like, you don't picture Barb. Like, I could picture them all in my mind, but I don't have a mental image of Barb.
I'm Chris Farley's sister. You know what? I do think about it. I mean, it's like you just like messing with people. If people don't, you're just like
Get it?
see people's react. If you're a Farley, you could tell that they were all just like very expressive people.
That laugh. Tyler was right. When we first were like, oh, we're talking to Kevin Farley this season. He's like, oh man, that could be hard to get through. And I was like, what? Why would you say that? I was like, he's a comedian like this. Is so lighthearted. He's like, yeah, but he has the same laugh as his brother. And you're
He
like,
does.
oh man, that's so true. And that it hits hard.
It does.
Heard him laugh a couple times.
I love that. What a great laugh.
What a great laugh. High quality Crunchtober fun. Oh, and I know what I wanted to say. New dream car giveaway over at 8080. In addition to the 15% off you get for using code Crunchy, every dollar you spend gets you entered in for a chance to win a brand new Lamborghini plus $60,000 in cash. You do not want to miss out. Nor do you want to forget to check out SomethingCrunchy.com, where you'll find every episode, our links to social media, and the almighty Crunch Store, where you'll find all kinds of crunchy gear showing that you are a proud citizen of Crunch Nation. Join us every Friday night at 10 o'clock on 97.3 The Rattler, or find us wherever you get your podcast. This has been another episode of Something Farley, and as always,
Don't ever forget to.
Gotcha. You got Farleyed.
To live your Farleyest life.
just wanted to see if she like on.
And be Farley to one another.
It was. Does he know he did that? This has been another episode of Something Crunchy, and as always,
Don't ever forget to live your crunchiest life.
And be crunchy to one another.
Please don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, and all that crunchy good shit. All episodes can be found at somethingcrunchy.com and on all podcast platforms. Thank you for listening.
I really don't know anymore. I
Yes.
really can't say. I really can't say. Yeah. My wife calls me and says, I guess Thomas is coming back to the show.
Oh,
No.
no.